Welcome everybody to the Intern Group's info session. We want this session to be super interactive. I'm going to be talking quite a bit for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we open up to all your questions. So make sure if you want to put on your camera or mute yourself. The idea is that we have a very interactive session. What's the agenda then for today? We're going to be talking first about who we are as the Intern Group, walk you through our programs, global programs at a glance. So be ready for a trip around the world and tell you how it works, our placement process, some professional development tools that we have for you, and then Q&A. So let's start with who we are. I'm actually going to introduce myself as well. I'm Joanna Molina, one of the co-founders of the Intern Group. As I said, I'm based in Colombia. And then we've been connecting global talent with opportunities for 13 years now. Our purpose, which was in the previous slide, is to help people realize their potential. And how we do that? By encouraging people to believe in themselves, to challenge themselves, and then discover what their passion is. Back at the beginning of the company, that's basically how we started. I wanted to further my career in finance in England and didn't find any opportunities back then. And with my co-founders, we said, okay, well, let's create something that can actually open up the doors for people, not necessarily with the personal connections within companies, but that can openly apply to these opportunities. Now we are a global team. We have nearly 70 people around the world. I wish I can have them all here, but you can see them here in the screen. We have a few team members here as Mallory joining us today. And this is very important for you to know because you might interact with a couple of people, but there is a very strong team behind looking for the right opportunities for you and supporting you while you are abroad. So that in terms of who we are here today, we have Mallory, our University Partnership Associate. As she said, she's currently in Chile and I'm in Colombia. And then a little bit about our history. I mentioned we've been for 13 years connecting people with opportunities. We've had people from more than 150 countries. We have more than 3,000 host organizations around the world where you could do your internship at. And we partnered with several universities as well around the world, more than 100 of the top universities. So you could also have this program as part of your academics or get academic credit as part of it. Some of the benefits of the program, this is actually quite important. Why? Because this is not only an internship. You might think, okay, well, I'm going with the Intern Group, they're going to find me an organization. It's not just that. We are also going to be providing you with career development. Okay, getting into the first job or first professional experience is actually quite scary or challenging. You don't have to do it on your own. We're going to be there giving you all the resources, all the training. There's loads of, we're going to speak about that in a little bit. It's a once in a lifetime experience. Right now, you are in a moment of your life when you can explore a lot, where you don't need to, you might have a lot of questions. And so by doing this experience, you can meet people from all over the world, expand your network, as well as strengthening several skills that are going to be meaningful for you, no matter in which job that you end up working in the future. As mentioned, there's support from us. So everything you need, we have on the ground people supporting you. So if I'm sick, if I am lost, if I am missing my family, or if I just want to have someone to talk to, there's always someone there to support you. And once you finish, it's not end like the end with the Intern Group. You're having alumni services. There is a network of alumni. You're going to have career coaching from experts. There's always engagement within the community of students. We have more than 14,000 interns doing our program in the last 13 years. Now, what's included in the program? Again, it's more than the internship. So the internship is only one part of it. There's also accommodation depending on the program that you choose. So that's, again, something for you to have in mind is you can pick at your own, as you desire. So, okay, I want to go to this destination, but I already have a family member there. Well, you can actually have it without accommodation. But generically, there's accommodation included if you wanted to. There's various social and cultural events. There's welcome pack waiting for you. We pick you up at the airport. We support you with the visa, which is something that can be very, very daunting and difficult to get your way around it. And there's 24/7 support. I mentioned already this talk space is very interesting because this is an opportunity for you to access therapists online. It's like, I don't know, the Uber for therapists. So if you are feeling like, I don't know, a bit overwhelmed, anxious, you can always use the app and speak to someone, and we wouldn't know, of course, that you are using it because it's completely private. In terms of the details, there are several destinations. Oh, my son is calling me. Mallory, do you want to take this one for a second, please?
Yes, of course. So our program durations, here it says 8 to 12 weeks. We can do as little as 4 or as many as 24, but a typical duration would be 8 to 12 weeks on program. We do offer academic credit through our School of Record, Florida AMU. There is a small fee for that. So if you need or want credit for your internship abroad, that's something that we would coordinate with you and your university to make sure that it's lining up academically with what you need. We have start dates every month of the year in all of our destinations, and then 2 start dates for most of our destinations during the summer months, which is when most students prefer to travel. For example, coming up in July 2024, we've got Dublin, Melbourne, New York, Medellin, Hong Kong. So we'll go to the next slides and talk about some of our destinations. So people always say, what are your most popular destinations? New York is a very popular destination, the city that never sleeps. Great for professional experience because the work culture is quite intense. So you'll get a lot of exposure there. Here on all of these slides, we've listed what are the most popular career fields for each of our destinations. But that does not mean that we're limited to these career fields. We work with over 3,000 companies globally. And so we can really help get you set up with whichever career field you're interested in whichever destination you're interested in. And then, as Joa mentioned, all of our destinations include excursions. So some examples here: Top of the Rock tour, the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Guggenheim, and they sort of vary throughout the year.
Amazing. Thank you, Mallory, for covering.
Yes.
I'm now back. I would love to see actually which destinations are you interested in. You can put it in the chat because Medellin is a destination that is actually where the Intern Group started. Is very off the beaten path. It's the second largest city of Colombia. You would like to go to London? Okay, excellent. We're gonna go there next or very soon. Medellin is one of the most innovative cities in the world. So how you go from being one of the most dangerous cities in the world into being one of the most innovative, that's one of the experiences that people get when you come and explore it. The other destination that we also have for you is Dublin. I haven't seen the chat Dublin yet, but Dublin is absolutely fantastic in terms of art. The people is one of the feedback that we get the most from the interns that go there. The people are extremely warm and make every intern is very welcome. They feel very welcome there. There's amazing food as well. And you can see all the different excursions that you will be able to have when you are there. Now let's go to where Vignesh would like to be, which is in London. I lived there for a few years, and so it's absolutely fantastic. It's vibrant, it's full of culture. It also, as New York never sleeps, but in a different way. The pace feels different, and it's a lot more, there's a lot more of particular traditional things that the British like to do, which is also very beautiful for you to experience. You can see in the picture people in the London Eye discovering the entire city, and right behind them is Westminster and the Big Ben. Then we have Madrid as a destination, as well as Medellin is the Spanish-speaking destinations that we have. Madrid is super vibrant. Spanish food is absolutely incredible. It definitely is very different in the sense of pace. People there take naps in the midday for 2 hours. You go out and have dinner at like 11 p.m. It's very interesting as well for you to develop. What I'm focusing here is more cultural because obviously, as you can see in the slide, there's lots of career fields that we offer for you. You can choose pretty much any career field in any destination. But when you choose the destination, it needs to be aligned with what your desires are, like what sort of pace you want to be in. Do you want a super fast pace as Hong Kong and New York, or do you want to be in a more laid-back culture like, I don't know, Melbourne, for example, which is coming up later. So let's move on to Hong Kong. Hong Kong, it has this beautiful combination of culture, tradition, and modernism. So while you are working in the streets, you find a beautiful temple right next to a skyscraper. It's very interesting for you as well to know that the spaces in these countries are very different to what you probably are used to. So space is very limited in Hong Kong, hence all the rooms, for example, are very small for everybody in the place. So this is also something to highlight from the experience. Is beautiful as a place and very close to anywhere else for you to explore in Asia. Now, Tokyo is a very popular destination. Again, the food, the tradition, learning about how they do business and how they have built this tradition into becoming like one of the most, I don't know, like disciplined people, let's say, and following all these different traditions. Is beautiful. Food, don't tell me about it because it's absolutely incredible there. We have interns always taking photos with food while they are in Tokyo. Then we move on to the Bangkok program. This one is also a spectacular place for you to explore a very different culture, a very beautiful and humble culture, very open and warm for people. It's also, if you can see, in terms of the destinations, they are very diverse and they all have very different cost of livings as well. And so that's also going to be important for you when you decide where to intern. Let's move on to the final destination, which is Melbourne. Is for most probably one of the destinations that is going to be the furthest, and also where you can feel closer to nature. We see the interns here interacting with kangaroos. You're going to be able to be in the beach and also be on amazing parks and visiting vineyards while you are there. We have 2 more programs, as well as this in person. One is the virtual. Okay, what if I am currently studying, working, or I simply don't have limitations to go abroad for whatever reason? Well, you can also do our internship virtually, and you can choose if you want to do it full-time, part-time, if you want to do 10, 20, 30, or 40 hours a week in pretty much every career field. This is something that is very trendy right now. As you know, a lot of organizations are expanding their team, and you can be anywhere. We, as the Intern Group, I show you who we are, and we have people in more than 20 countries around the world. And it's fantastic as well for you to be able to experience that in other organizations. And then the other program that we have, to move on quickly into the Q&A, is the Digital Nomad. What does this mean? It means that you can be interning at one destination in person, so going there, flying there, getting the cultural immersion while doing the internship, the professional part of the program, online. So let's say, oh, I really want to go to, I don't know, be living in Medellin, but my company is actually located in New York or in London. that's basically what the digital nomad program is, which is something that also is happening a lot. We see a lot of people that, even in our organization, that are constantly traveling and working from different parts of the world. It doesn't really matter where you are located. So how it works, I think we need to change this actually, because you need to go into the website, which I'm gonna put here, theinterngroup.com, and that's where you can apply. Perfect. So that is the website, theinterngroup.com. The next step is you apply into our website. You then have an interview with one of our admission consultants. And then this person is going to be able to say, okay, what are your interests? Is international business, but where? Is it in a bigger organization, smaller organization? So after the interview is when you are going to be able to then make the decision of do the program or not. This interview, you don't need to pay anything or do anything. Just speak with our team members and then make the decision to realize your potential with us. And then you can ask me, okay, Joanna, how does the placement process work? Once we have your application, then we work with you on optimizing your resume or CV, on different professional workshops for you to have a professional profile, different mock interviews, because we know getting into a job interview can be quite scary. So we are there to support you as well. And we have different resources for you to do that. We're going to show you which ones. And you can have also academic credit if you are part of an organization, like one of our university partners. You can also apply for that. Let's go to the next one, please. This career advancement training is one of the key components of our program. So we have the internship. Okay, you have real life experience. But how you do that, we support you through our learning experience. One part of the learning experience for us is you can do the career advancement training on your own. So you get into our website, learning.theinterngroup.com. Actually, that first part, there's one part of the experience that is free. So you can actually go right now and sign up. We can put the link here as well. And then you're going to be able to have access to different modules, like how do you nail your interview? How do you nail the first weeks at the job? What sort of things you need to do for that? Creating your personal statement, personal branding, etc. is very tailored to your needs at this point of your career. So I actually invite you to go there and check it out because it's completely free for you. Now, we also have workshops that are live that we do with experts, and those are more tailored to once you are in the program with us. Those are some of the sessions that we do, like Nail Your Interview. We have one actually coming up later on today on your LinkedIn profile. How do you reflect and make the most of your experience, international experience, to get a new job? There's loads of interesting sessions for you to learn from. And then finally, prepare your questions, because now we are going to start into the Q&A very soon. Screenshot these, follow us on social media at the Intern Group if you want to see how our interns are doing in different destinations, previous experiences in different career fields. Everything is there on TikTok or Instagram. You can see both real time and also from previous interns. Now I'm going to pause for a minute and start hearing you. What questions do you have? What else would you like to hear about us? Let's start the Q&A session. Any questions, any comments?
So I see a couple of people have mentioned Vignesh. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It sounds like you're interested in a London internship. We would love to hear sort of what field you might be interested in, because we have a few different people on the call from the organization who might be able to speak to that particular experience, as well as Laura. Laura, it looks like you're interested in Melbourne. So again, if you could tell us about the field you might be interested in exploring in your internship, either, you know, tell us in the chat box or feel free to come live on the mic and we're happy to tell you more about the
For
fields.
me, it's a bit complicated, I'd say, but I'm studying criminology with counseling skills, so I would be interested in a field regarding that. So like ONGs or whatever,
Okay.
victim support, working with children or whatever similar there is as an option.
Okay, excellent. That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, we do have ONGs, lots of non-government organizations, sorry, NGOs, I did it the Spanish way, available in all of our destinations, as well as virtual internships. So as I've been reading up on some of our profiles, I've come across virtual interns who have worked with NGOs around the globe. I think one thing to keep in mind is that it wouldn't necessarily be like clinical or like therapy, but there would be lots of use for your skills in a number of our NGO profiles.
That's amazing.
So
Thank you.
yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Lara, for your question. Any other question, comment?
Joa, since we have somebody who's interested in London, could you and you've spent a fair amount of time there, could you maybe just tell us about some of the popular fields for the London destination, and then maybe some of your favorite parts of life in the city?
Yes, absolutely, I can. I think one of the, I'm going to start with what surprised me the most when I first arrived in London is that you can hear every single language spoken almost at the same time around you. And so it's like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. You see people from all over the world. I never met so many friends from so many different cultures. And that in itself is extremely valuable because then you learn from them the way they live, the way they approach different situations is incredible. Plus, they have some of the best museums. They are all free, which is also something that is fantastic. It's not very usual in other cities. So you have access to a lot of different, let's say, cultural plans that don't cost you anything. And there is a lot of rituals around the British culture. So you can go and see, I don't know, the Buckingham Palace and how they change guards. You can go and visit castles. You can go. That for me was actually something that I personally found very magical in a way. In terms of the career fields, London is very popular for business, for PR and marketing is extremely important, popular. NGOs or non-for-profit, finance and accounting, and also hospitality. As you can imagine, tourism is really big in London. And so if you are interested in that career field of hospitality or events and tourism, as well as many other industries. So yeah, thank you, Mallory, for that, because yes, that's something that maybe some of the people with us here today can relate to or would like to explore further.
We also have a question here about the content of the intern program. In terms of work experience, it will really depend on what, okay, is it working with companies or studying or learning theory? You'll be actively working in a company. And as you apply, first of all, as Joa explained, you'll have an interview with one of our admissions consultants, and you'll sort of define with them what experience are you looking for. Then once you come on program, we will be working with you to make sure that your CV is tip top, prepare you for interviews. That's a bit that can make people somewhat nervous, especially when you're interviewing like this over camera. So giving you tips on how to prepare for your interview, and then we'll put you directly in contact with the companies that are looking for interns. So as I said, we have a profile of over 3,000 companies globally. And we have people on our team who are, their job is to match interns with opportunities. So they'll look at your profile, the company profile, and say, it looks like this is a match. We also use artificial intelligence to optimize this, this process. And then you have an interview with the company. So you'll, of course, before you interview with the company, you'll want to read up on what is the description of the internship, and read up on the company, so that when you go to your interview, you're prepared to talk to them on their grounds. And they'll tell you, what is it, a project that they're looking for an intern to do, you know, sort of start to finish, or do they need extra support in an admin task, or, you know, so you will, of course, you'll be learning. I think that's the wonderful thing about internships, is you get to learn the whole way through, just because you're in a new environment, interacting with people who know about tools or have expertise that you maybe haven't seen before. So working but learning at the same time. And then as Joa said, we also have these online courses before that you start working on at your own pace, before your internship, during your internship, and then you continue to have access to them after your internship.
100%, Mallory. I want to say as well that it's all of those combined, because yes, you are bringing all your theory. Now is the time that you put it into practice. And it's very different to being at university. And so your manager, for example, is going to expect you to come with some proactive attitude, to bring some of your ideas. But obviously, they know you might not know everything, and so they will be willing to teach you. But this needs to be a situation where you are also proposing things. You are not scared about giving your opinion or saying how things in your perspective should be done. We support you on that, because that's not something that is very easy when you are starting in an organization. So we also have modules on self-confidence, on how to approach these conversations, etc. So yes, you will not expect to have someone teaching you every single step of the way, as in the regular working world. You're going to need to be learning a lot of things. So as I do in my daily life, there might be projects that I'm part of that involve things that I don't know. So I just quickly go learn, implement, ask other colleagues, etc. That's all part of the experience. And that's also why we are here to support you. So thank you for that question. Lara is asking as well something about the cost. So what will be the cost? Are the internships paid positions? So Lara, the costs are variable depending on the type of program that you choose. So if you want to choose, and they're all in our website as well, so we can share again the link to our website here. You can take a look. It also depends on, as I mentioned previously, if you want to have accommodation or you don't want to have accommodation, because that's one of the main parts of the cost of the program. So yes, I have a friend or a family member in that destination. You don't need to pay for an accommodation if you can stay with them. So feel free to take a look at that. In terms of the paid position, so we do encourage every host organization to provide some sort of compensation. That said, not every country allows that. And so there are certain countries where for interns, companies wouldn't be able to give them a stipend or any compensation unless they have work visas, in which case that program is pretty much impossible, because the requirements of getting a work visa for an organization that is going to be receiving you, I don't know, for 2, 3, or 4 months, it makes the experience almost unavailable. But it's very important for you to know that we do encourage that for sure. And some are paid. And so we can't really say which ones are, which ones aren't. You will find out as well during the placement process. We have a question from Monica. Mallory, you wanna read that one?
Yes. So the question is, how long does it typically take to be accepted by a company? What is a good time frame to start the process? Thank you, Monica. That's a really good question as well. We usually recommend a minimum, and I'm I'm still learning, so Joe, correct me if I'm if I'm wrong. So we're coming up on summer deadlines. If you're looking to travel for this summer, Northern Hemisphere summer, June, July, August, the deadlines for London and New York, just because the visa tends to take longer there, are now like end of February. So you'd want to get your application in and make sure that you've interviewed with our admissions consultant in order to get placed for the summer. And then for all of our other destinations, mid-March would be the deadline to apply for summer start dates. Usually 3 months, 3 to 6 months is a good time frame for planning, especially depending on the visa requirements. If it's a destination where depending on the passport that you hold, you can go in on a tourist visa, it's faster. If you require a visit to an embassy, getting all your visa paperwork in order, you'll want to leave 6 months to make sure that you have enough time to get all of those details squared away.
Yes, absolutely.
In terms
so
of being
yes,
placed with
where are you interested in? Where, tell us like what destination calls your attention. It depends on the destination, but yes, as Mallory said, you still can apply for the summer internships anywhere. So that's very important. It's February already, and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have now time for interning abroad this summer. Yes, you do have time. Just go ahead and apply very quickly. But we also have students that already applied for an internship next year. And so there's no a limit. It usually takes around 3 weeks, the process of matching you with an organization. That also varies. And it varies if you are super responsive, responding to us very quickly, you are more flexible with the times that you can interview, etc., then that process can be expedited as much as possible. But yes, there's no, we recommend you to apply as soon as you can so that we can start working in that process with you. But it would be great to know more about you, like what degree or what career field are you interested in, and if you have a destination in mind, that would be great.
I think also as maybe a little insider tip in terms of getting placed. We see, I think, the most success in students who are very responsive. As Joa says, if you're invited to interview, even if you think, oh, that company might not be a good fit for me, go ahead, respond, and take that opportunity. Every time you interview, it's a learning opportunity. You get more practice. And so we always say, take the interview, whether or not you think you're really interested. And that gives you practice interviewing. And you never know if in that conversation, an opportunity, they might say, oh, it actually looks like your profile would fit better over here. We hadn't thought about having an intern in this department or on this project, but you can find areas where your interests align just by being open to the conversation. So I think that's also very important in the matching process. Being very responsive shows that you're interested. Being open to those conversations shows like you're open to the practice of interviewing and willing to look for collaborative solutions.
Yes, 100%, 100%. One question that we always get as well a lot is, how do I choose my destination? What if I like multiple destinations? When you apply, you put one, but when you speak with our admission consultants, you can always say, listen, I am super open. I really would like to go, I don't know, New York, London, or Medellin, whatever. It's a possibility for you as well to do so. So don't think that when you apply, you have to be completely set on where you want to go. We are here to support you as well, depending on your career field, where you want to go, etc. That's a super question. Go ahead and read it, please, Mallory. You can take it first and I complement.
What is something you've heard past participants wish they did differently? I haven't had, I'm fairly new to TIG, so I haven't heard so many things that people wish they'd done differently. I think, did Joa just drop off the call maybe? I guess the most I've seen is just do it If you're on the fence about it, just apply. You won't regret it. As you can see on all of our review sites, we have very positive reviews from a lot of our participants. So I guess Joe, I was just saying I haven't heard so many people talk about what they wish they'd done differently, just that they're so happy that they did it, and their advice is go for it. You won't regret it. Do you
Yes,
have any?
I will add to that time goes extremely quickly. It can be 6 weeks or 6 months, but time goes extremely quickly. So one thing that they wish they did differently, or they wish they did more of, that we hear often, is connecting with the local culture, connecting with their colleagues a lot more, like putting yourself out there in the outside of the comfort zone. We know it can be scary. If it's a different language, for example, most of the things that people say is like, although they do, most of the times is, I wish I had taken more risks in the sense of meeting locals, doing a lot more like planning my time, making the absolute most of every single day, because it goes extremely fast, and focusing a lot on where you are right there. So whether you are doing it for 2 months, 3 months, however long it is something that it's a life experience that is not going to be repeated, at least not in the same way. You can do other trips, other internships, whatever. And so make the most of that experience at that point. And also make the most of the people you meet, because one of the most important assets anyone can have in life is your network. And that network starts with your other interns that you are going to meet, the colleagues that you are working with, so start building that network that in the future is going to be your support system to get a new job or to get a recommendation, etc. And so, how long of a time period will you suggest getting the most out of the experience? 2 or 6 months? Learning a language, maybe, oh gosh, the longer the better to learn a new language, that for sure. That's also another thing that people say they wish they have done differently. So if you are going to a country where it speaks a different language than you can start getting immersed into that language. You can use, I don't know, Duolingo, whatever you want, to start getting the very basics of that language. That will be good. If you want to improve another language, the longer you can be there, the better. But again, it's up to you, how long you have as well. If you have just finished university, the longer you can do it, the better, because you can feel more like a local. Plus, you will have more time to build a project in the company where you can see beginning to the end your results. So the shorter you are doing it, you will have an impact, of course, and you will have deliverables, but it will be different, the sort of project that you can be assigned to if you are in a 2-month rather than in a 6-month period.
I can speak to that as well. Just to clarify, all of our internships are English speaking. So even in Medellin or in Madrid, which we said are Spanish speaking destinations, English speakers are most welcome to apply an intern there. And depending on your language abilities, the internship will either be 100% in English, or if you feel confident in your Spanish, that opens up even more possibilities of the companies that you can be working with. In terms of language learning, it also depends on how many languages do you already speak. If you are monolingual, working on acquiring your second language, it may take a little longer. If you already speak a few languages, it's easier to pick up another one. In my case, when I first came to Chile, it was about 3 months before I felt confident understanding what was going on around me, and 6 months before I felt that I could express my ideas and my personality in Spanish.
How was that for you, Mallory? Because
oh my goodness,
Chilean Spanish is very different.
Very different. It's very different. And now my Spanish accent is fully Chilean. And when I speak with other Spanish speakers, they say, "Are you from Chile?" Like, your accent is quite Chilean. But yeah, it was an experience that just opened the world to me. So go for it if you're interested in learning another language. And just like Joe said, the more time you spend on it, the more fluent you'll get.
Another question we also get regularly is if this could open up opportunities or possibilities for a full-time job, which 100% can. It also depends whether you are in the middle of your degree, and so obviously you will need to go back, finish university, etc. But we were just speaking a few minutes ago with an alum of our program who said she interned in Dublin and she got a job offer and she was, okay, I still have an year at uni. They said, fantastic, go there. You always have the doors open here to come back. So that's what I mean when I say the network. If you go there with the mindset, growth mindset of saying, I'm going to leave a very good impression, I'm going to learn, but at the same time, add a lot of value to the organization, you could be in that position where you get a job offer in person or just work remotely for the same organization. We have cases where interns then representing the organization abroad. And so, okay, it's something that also a lot of organizations are looking to do, to expand, etc. So you can, basically, what I want you to know is that the opportunities are limitless and it's all depending on you, like on the impression you give, in all your energy you put out there for this. So yeah, it's very interesting as well to see and to have that in mind whenever you are doing an internship abroad. Any other questions?
There's one we missed a little higher up. It says, can you share your office address in London? Joa, maybe, so we are registered in London. The company is a UK company, but we're remote first. So if you're looking to drop in and speak with an admissions consultant, the best way to do that is to book an appointment online. We have a team in London, and they are mainly an experienced team. So they work with the people who are on program in terms of housing, outings, that 24-hour support. But in terms of, if you're looking to get in touch with somebody to talk about admissions, the best way to do that would be booking an appointment online.
Exactly. I can share with you. You just need to give me a little bit for you to check the address. But yes, to speak with us is best like that. In London, we have around, well, in England overall, because we have people living outside of London, we have around 10 team members from people that work on experience. So if you do end up going there, you're going to meet them. Experience team is the one that goes with you everywhere, supports you. If you need anything in terms of emergencies, or go with you to the London Eye, to the Westminster, everything. But we also have other team members there from, let's say, the marketing team or the finance team or other teams that are reaching out to host organizations that you might also be able to meet while we are there. We're an organization that have team members in 25 different countries, and so wherever you go, maybe you can find one of our team members as well. Any other questions, comments? Unmute yourself if you'd like. I got a direct one on what do I do next. So Mainami, my colleague, just put the link here. You can book an online call. It's a free call, so you can ask all your questions about career, fields, destinations, costs, whatever with us. And you can choose as well at what time you would like to have that. So it's pretty much 24/7 because we have people all over the world. You can have it at your most convenient time.
Another thing I wanted to mention before we hop off is people have asked about costs, and since this is an open info session, we don't know everybody's universities, but if this info session was promoted through your university, it's very likely that your university is a partner organization with the Intern Group, in which case there is a discount for students of partner universities. And we also try to make our programs as accessible as possible. So we do have some needs and merit-based scholarships available depending on your home country. So that would also be something to discuss with an admissions consultant if you're interested in exploring that further.
Yes, absolutely. To expand on that, so I just posted our UK address there for you. And in terms of the costs, in our website, you're going to see there are several ways where you can have financial aid, financial support, depending, as you said, Mallory, on the agreement we have with your university and also with so many other things that you can find there to help increase accessibility to the program. And so, yes, it's difficult to give a number because it depends on whether you want it to do virtual or with accommodation or without accommodation. But I want you all to know that accessibility for us is extremely important. And so we are always having that into account when we build the different programs that we have. And if we don't have any more questions, I think we can start wrapping up the session. Thank you all for participating. Thank you for your questions. We look forward to hearing from you. You can connect with us using the link that we just shared with you. We're gonna keep having these sessions maybe every other week, like every 2 weeks. So if you also think, okay, I have other questions or you wanna ask us, you will see Mallory and me in 2 weeks at a different time zone as well, because we want to be time zone inclusive. We want to be able to speak with people that are in Asia sleeping right now.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Yes.
Lovely to
Thank you for
meet
joining us today. Look forward to hearing more from you all.
Thank you, Mallory and Manami.
Yep.
And see you all soon. Thank you, Monica.
Yes.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.